Many people hate being in the city, especially if you're coming from one of the major cities around the country. But even though San Antonio is one of the few big cities that doesn't really feel like a big city to me, if you're looking for kind of a little bit slower pace of life, then these are the cities and towns around San Antonio that you want to live in if you don't want to live in San Antonio. Let's go. Howdy guys, this is Michael McCall, your realtor here in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're going to go into a little bit about where you may want to live if you don't actually want to live in San Antonio. And by that, I mean, of course, if you want to live in the San Antonio area, you're going to work in San Antonio or somewhere around here, but you definitely don't want to live in the city. You like the small town, slower pace of life kind of lifestyle. Before we get into that, just want to remind you guys that if you have any questions whatsoever about moving to San Antonio, living in San Antonio, or just anything in general, just reach out to me. My information is right here. You can text me, call me, email me anytime. I'll get back with you guys as soon as I possibly can. Oh, and also, if you are looking for more videos about San Antonio or any of the cities around San Antonio, New Braunfels, Bernie, Bulverde, Spring Branch, all my videos are all about this area and about how much I love this area. I'm born and raised here, and I try to pretend like I know this place like the back of my hand. I'm learning stuff new every day, but even still, I'm gonna learn with you guys, and I'm gonna teach you everything that I know about San Antonio in this channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you comment if you have any questions about the city, and then also reach out if you have any other questions. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. When you're looking for where to live, if you don't wanna live in the big city of San Antonio, we're gonna go over some of the top 7 places. Some of these places you may not have even heard of before, but that's okay. That's kind of why I wanted to bring them up. I have talked about a couple of these in my other videos, but a lot of these are some that I have never even brought up before. So I wanna make sure that you guys know everything you can about some of these cities. First one we're gonna go over is Bernie. So Bernie is one of those places that is probably on your radar by now if you've looked at San Antonio. Bernie is one of the most popular suburbs of San Antonio, and for really, really good reason. It has some of the highest rated schools in the area. It has a freaking adorable downtown. I mean, it's a place that, you know, me and my family go all the time. We like to go down, just kind of go walk to downtown, check out a couple little shops, maybe grab lunch, and then maybe even go over to a couple of the parks there in Bernie and just kind of hang out for the day. Cibolo Creek, you know, runs right through, kind of close to downtown. You can go park along the road, go walk along the creek. You can walk along the roads right there to hit up some of the restaurants, and then go across the road and fish, you know, just watch the ducks if you just want to take the dogs out there for a walk. I mean, that's a good spot for any of those number of things. It's also in a great location in that it's only 38 minutes from downtown San Antonio, so it's a really easy commute. Quite a few people live in Bernie and commute into San Antonio. One of the negatives about Bernie is that there's no department stores or like the Targets or, you know, the Best Buys or whatever. But honestly, I don't even know why you would even want that stuff in if you're looking to live out of the city. La Cantera is just a really quick drive. I mean, 15, 20 minutes max to get to the biggest mall in San Antonio, most popular mall. I mean, the Rim is right there across from La Cantera. Right off I-10 as you're going into San Antonio, getting there from Bernie. Another great opportunity is that there are a lot of new construction communities coming up in Bernie. So with that, it's not like, you know, your typical like basic cookie cutter houses that are coming into Bernie. It's very good quality homes. It's higher priced homes, so keep that in mind as well. Bernie is one of the higher priced markets in San Antonio. And with that, there's a lot of opportunity if you're looking to maybe make a long-term plan and go contract on a new build in one of these communities as they're opening up some of the phases. Hey, don't forget, I'm your guy. If you need help getting new construction started, let me know. I can connect you with some of those people over there. And then even if you've already got it figured out, guys, new construction is one of my specialties. So I have built several houses in my lifetime. It is one of my absolute favorite things to do is to help clients build new houses. So if you are looking to start a new construction house in Bernie or in any other part of San Antonio, let me know. Next is going to be Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg is a place that I have not talked about yet in any of my videos. I may have mentioned it once or twice as like a thing to do, you know, drive up to Fredericksburg and check out the Fredericksburg wine country and the Texas Hill Country, but I have not mentioned anything about living in Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg is one of those places that is kind of a hidden gem, I mean, if you will. I mean, it's no secret that is the main piece of wine country in Texas, and it's very, very popular for that. I mean, bachelorette parties all the time. I've heard of all kinds of different parties going there, spending the week there, spending the weekend there, going to downtown Fredericksburg, walking the strip, going to check out some of these different wineries, doing the wine tastings. And on top of that, there is quite a bit of other stuff to do. One of the favorite things that me and my family did is a couple years ago, we went to the Preserve, where you can actually go in there and they have like elephant encounters. So we got to go up, we would take pictures with the elephants. There's different things you get to do with the elephants, the different trainers and, you know, elephant handlers, I guess, if you will. I don't know what you would call them. They coach you along on what to do when you're interacting with the elephants, and you're literally right there, as close as I am to this camera, from those elephants. And come to find out too, there's actually a similar thing for giraffes called Long Neck Manor. So I thought that was pretty cool. Downtown, like I said, downtown Fredericksburg is a place where you can go just walk. You can take the kids there. We've taken our kids there before, even when they were like 2 or 3 years old. Walking up and down the strip is a lot of fun. I mean, go into some of the different shops and go into get some of the different sweets that they have at some of the different ice cream shops and, you know, bakeries and things like that.
Life was like a box of chocolates.
It is a lot farther from San Antonio. It is about an hour and 10-minute drive to get to San Antonio from Fredericksburg. It is some of the most beautiful country out there. It is smack dab in the middle of the Texas Hill Country. So it's hill country views all around, everywhere. It's not like you're right on the edge of it. You are right in the middle of it. Downside to that is that because it is such a popular tourist attraction and the vacation rental business has kind of exploded out there, I think that has kind of played a part in the rising prices out there. A lot of people love to retire in Fredericksburg as well. So you get, you know, some people that are, you know, taking their cash, taking their equity and moving out to the middle of the hill country and enjoying their Fredericksburg wine country for the rest of their lives. And, you know, I can't blame them. Third place that we're going to talk about is good old New Braunfels, Texas. That is New Braunfels, by the way, just in case you were wondering about that. San Antonio and all the area around here has some of the funniest pronounced names ever, and it always causes people a problem. Anyways, get off my tangent there. New Braunfels is probably the most popular suburb of San Antonio for people to move to. You could probably consider it, you know, kind of a middle suburb, you know, its own little area by itself, just because it's about, you know, 30-minute drive to get into San Antonio from there and through some of the heaviest traffic.
Always traffic. Always traffic.
That you probably will ever get on I-35. Keep that in mind if you are looking there and moving to or commuting to San Antonio. New Braunfels has more things to do than most other places in San Antonio. It is probably one of the most popular places to go if you are looking for something to do, especially if you're on that northeast side of San Antonio. And so a lot of people will travel into New Braunfels every single day to go eat, especially going eat at Green River Grill, Gristmill, any of those types of places. They go to the Comal, Guadalupe Rivers in the summer, going just to shop at Green or at the shops at Creekside or downtown New Braunfels. The nightlife in New Braunfels is really, really good, actually. Downtown New Braunfels is always super busy, and Green also has quite a few different places to go. And Green Hall, of course, is a classic country music venue, so there's always, you know, good artists that are coming there to play. And then just down the road up in Canyon Lake, you have Whitewater Amphitheater, which also houses some of the most popular country music artists every summer. Summer music in New Braunfels is, you know, loaded with Texas country artists and even some big name country artists, so it is a very, very popular place. Now, if you have kids, it's not just about the nightlife in New Braunfels. New Braunfels has all kinds of different things that you can do with the kids, from the Children's Museum. You can go to Landa Park. You can swim in the spring-fed pools there at Landa Park. You can go to Schlitterbahn, which is one of the most nationally and world-renowned water parks in the entire world. It has won all kinds of awards for being one of the best water parks in the world, and it is for really, really good reason. There is all kinds of stuff to do. I mean, it's huge. I mean, there's several different sections of it that you can go to, so there's lots of things to do with that. And then you also have the snake farm.
Watch out for snakes!
Tiny little, you know, kind of small zoo. They have lots of cool little animal encounters too that you can do, where they bring some of the different things out, and the handlers will, you know, let you pet them and show you what they do to interact with them. A lot of fun for the kids. I mean, we take our kids there all the time. My mom especially loves taking my son and daughter there, so it's a lot of fun for that. The biggest negative, something you may not love so much about New Braunfels, is that it is growing like a freaking wildfire. I mean, it is. I don't even know how to describe the growth of New Braunfels. I mean, I can remember growing up whenever it was just a small little, you know, 30, 40,000 people, but now it's well over 100,000 and growing by the second. I mean, it is one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. It is the traffic there is just kind of a nightmare, honestly. But it's one of those where if you love New Braunfels for everything it's got, you'll be willing to deal with the traffic, and you just kind of take it, roll with the punches, right? I can tell you, for me personally, we had a house in New Braunfels. We were trying to look for a little bit slower pace of life, so we decided that New Braunfels wasn't for us for that reason. Just because of the growth, we ended up selling our New Braunfels house and building a house on 4 acres. So we kind of got away from it all, got out in the middle of nowhere, if you will, and are loving life right now. But that's just my personal experience. So many other people are doing the complete opposite, where they're wanting to move into New Braunfels just so they're closer to everything. So it's whatever your preference is on that. Just keep that in mind whenever you're looking there. Next on our list is good old Seguin.
It's real.
Seguin, Texas is where I personally was born and raised. I went to high school there, so I know everything and anything about Seguin. The biggest plus to Seguin right now is that it is still way more affordable than some of these places like New Braunfels and Austin, and even San Antonio for the most part. So that's kind of been a big driver for a lot of the growth of Seguin. There are new developments that are popping up everywhere in Seguin for that reason, especially New Braunfels. I mean, Seguin is about 10-15 minutes or so south of New Braunfels. Whenever we were growing up, there wasn't a whole lot to do in Seguin, so we would actually go to New Braunfels whenever we would want to go out to eat or go to the movies, or any of those different activities that I told you about for New Braunfels. We would go there to take advantage of that. Now, Seguin is one of those places that is kind of a hidden gem, if you will, and may be one of those places that coming up soon in the next 5-10-ish years is going to really be a hot spot for growth. The downtown in Seguin is really, really awesome in my opinion. I mean, there's not a whole lot to do there yet, but at the same time, if you drive through it, it is the most iconic, classic Texas downtown that you can imagine. It's got huge courthouse right there in the center on Court Street. Right behind it is the park with the big fountain and the pavilion where they have little local concerts every now and then. They have the trade days. It's fun to go down there and go to that. 4th of July, biggest small town 4th of July parade, and there are, people come out in droves for that thing. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually recording this the week after July 4th, and I just went there on July 4th of this year. So it was a lot of fun, and kids loved it. You also have Christmas parade every year as well, and I can tell you some of my favorite memories growing up are from those 4th of July parades with my family, and then the Christmas parades, and then getting to watch them light all the big pecan trees that are around the courthouse with the Christmas lights that hang from them. I remember, specifically remember, being there after the Christmas parades and seeing those lights lit up every year. And it was just a wonderful reminder that, Christmas was here and it was time to celebrate that holiday that we all love so much. Now, like I mentioned, Seguin doesn't have a whole lot going on right now, but it's got a lot in the works, and some really awesome businesses have actually been attracted to Seguin here recently. One that I talk about a lot is Burnt Bean. So Burnt Bean is it is the best barbecue restaurant in the entire state of Texas, in my opinion. It is probably on my list of maybe top 1 or 2 favorite foods. Like, there are multiple things on that list that are in my top 5 favorite foods ever out of anything. We go there very, very often and take advantage of it as much as we can. It's just a place that you have to actually try it to really understand what I'm talking about. It was named number 4 overall best barbecue restaurant by Texas Monthly this past year, and I have a feeling that they're going to be climbing up that list whenever that list comes out again. You also have Seguin Brewing Company and Seguin Coffee Company, and then just down the road from Burnt Bean is a place called The Backyard. It's just a nice little food truck park, and a few other things there too that you can do. There's a couple new businesses that are coming to Seguin, a couple new attractions, I should say. There's an axe throwing place that's going to be coming to right there on 46 and I-10. They're going to change one of those old restaurants and start that, so that'll be kind of a cool place to go and hang out. And then just south of town, they're actually talking about opening up a Christmas light farm where you can go drive through and see one of those big, huge, extravagant Christmas light displays that they have everywhere else. There's one supposed to be coming to Seguin.
Christmas is the greatest day in the whole wide world.
Cross our fingers that it happens. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Some people may not, but like with change, everybody kind of tilts their nose up at change sometimes, but it's part of the way of life, and I personally love it. Some of the other big things that are going on in Seguin, you have the Guadalupe River. You can go put your boat in, you can get your kayak, you can go fish just on the banks. I mean, there's lots of things to do on the Guadalupe River, and then just up the road, you have Lake Placid and Lake McQueeney. Lake McQueeney is probably one of the most popular recreational lakes in the entire entire South Texas area. It is a private lake, actually, so you actually have to own property on Lake McQueen or know somebody that does to get access to it. They have the ski lodge, they have ski shows that go on all the time. They put on their own firework display every 4th of July. Really, really popular place among the locals, especially. Next is another one that I have not talked about, but is very, very close to my heart personally. I love, love, love Vernia. Vernia is the smallest town on this list with, if you look at the population, it's actually right at about 1,000, maybe even a little bit less than that in the city. If you're actually living in Vernia and you actually go to Vernia for things, you will try to figure out exactly where that number came from because there's a lot more people there than that. But everything's kind of spread out. There's different communities that are kind of outside of town, so it doesn't go towards that population. But Vernia is your classic small Texas town. There is no really courthouse there. It's not the county seat for Wilson County. But it's just a small little town with all the schools right there on the same street within a half mile of each other. All the big churches are right down the street from the schools. Schools are pretty well rated if you look at gradeschools.org. It's got one main grocery store and a kind of smaller H-E-B, which I think is actually going to get a remodel here soon. I could be wrong, but I think I've heard rumors of that. And, of course, Dollar Generals that are kind of scattered around here and there. Very, very great community, right? That was one of the things that I really love about Vernia, is that the community comes out for everything. Like I mentioned, this past weekend, as I'm recording this, was July 4th. First ever July 4th parade in Vernia. They had the firework display. They had a John Wolfe concert, which is a pretty well-known country artist here in Texas. He played at the city park, and so everybody went out and just watched it. I mean, it's one of those where you just go out, you pop up a lawn chair, watch the concert, and then wait around for the fireworks to go off, and you just make a whole day out of it. It was a pretty big turnout for that, so I'm pretty sure the city was pretty proud about that. The town itself is just a great community. Everybody kind of gets along. Everybody knows each other, of course, like any small town. So it's great in that aspect as well. Another one of the things that I love about Vernia is that there are really no cookie cutter communities at all to speak of. Most every community in Vernia is half acre to 1 acre plus. Most every home out there is a custom built home. There are no cookie cutters to be seen anywhere around there. So it is a great spot if you're looking for some land that's a little bit more affordable. It's an easy drive to get to San Antonio still. Only 40 minutes to get to downtown San Antonio. Sometimes even less than that if traffic is pretty good. So and you also have a pretty easy drive up to New Braunfels as well. 45 minutes to get there if you wanted to go spend the evening there doing a few things. Overall, it's just a really great little town. But only a real negative, like I said, it's a small town. If you're going to move to Vernia, you want to move there because it's a small town. You want to move there because there is nothing to do. So there's a lot of people that kind of complain about Vernia not having anything to do. Well, you moved to Vernia for that reason, right? You moved there to be away from everything, to be in a small town. If you wanted a place that had more things to do, you probably moved to New Braunfels. So keep that in mind as well. Another little town that I have not talked about is Castroville. Castroville is located on the southwest side of San Antonio. It's literally only a 30-minute drive to get to downtown San Antonio, and it's a very popular place for those that are working at Lackland Air Force Base. Castroville is known as please don't hate on me, Castroville people, but the Little Alsace of Castroville. So that is actually a French term, and it is a very heavily French influenced town. There's all kinds of different European and French architecture scattered all throughout town, especially the Steinbach House, which is actually their visitor center, which was a gift from the French city of Alsace, I think is what it was, if I remember right. Anyways, it was a gift, and that house was built in the 1600s. It was actually brought over in pieces and reassembled there. And just recently, like within the last 20 or 30 years, I think that they remodeled it, refinished it so that it was more suitable to use as a visitor center. Castroville is a very, very popular town among those locals that live there. They are, ones that absolutely love the city for what it is and never want to see it change. There are a few new developments that are growing Castroville that are going kind of in between Castroville and San Antonio. Pretty nice houses out there, some different custom home communities, as well as some different tract home communities that kind of give you some good options. Medina Valley School District is actually really, really good. It's pretty highly rated and really, a great spot for your kids to go to school. For that reason, those, I think, developments have kind of drawn out there as well. And just because of the fact that it's, this growing, I feel like it's growing, that more and more people are wanting to be away from the cities and are willing to commute if their kids can kind of grow up in a smaller town away from the city. It's a personal deal for me. I was that way exactly. I mentioned to you about my New Braunfels move, so that was why we decided to move, was to kind of get away from that big city and all the hustle and bustle of everything. Another great thing that Castroville has is the Castroville Regional Park. It's a pretty good sized park. I think a little over 120 acres. That has the Medina River that runs through it, so you have a good water feature that you can enjoy. And then it also has a lot of nature. There's different walking trails on it, and it's a really popular place for going bird watching and different people to go check out the butterflies. I think there's a butterfly garden there. It has all kinds of different species of birds and butterflies all throughout that park. So really cool place to go for that aspect as well. And it is a really short drive to Medina Lake from there. And like I mentioned, super easy drive into San Antonio. But the biggest negative about Castroville, and this is a pretty big one, there is currently no HEB in Castroville.
What?
I have personally not seen a town other than, a few that are a little bit farther out that don't have an HEB that are around San Antonio, but I think this is probably the biggest, most popular town close to San Antonio that does not have its own HEB. If you can handle that, you can handle driving in a little bit of ways or going to Walmart for your groceries, then you'll like Castroville. Worth checking out. And last but not least is one of the farthest little towns from San Antonio, Kerrville. So Kerrville and Fredericksburg are kind of right there at about the same distance from San Antonio. Kerrville actually is right on the interstate, I-10. As you leave San Antonio, go up through Bernie, then you get up to Kerrville. So Kerrville is about, I think, 30-ish minutes from Bernie, which puts it a little bit over an hour to get into San Antonio. Kerrville is a relatively big town, right? It's kind of similar in size to Seguin, and that has about 22,000 people in its population. Kerrville is actually a really cool little town because it's got something that not a lot of these towns have. Seguin has Texas Lutheran University, which I didn't mention a minute ago, but it's got that option going for it. Kerrville also has its own university. Kerrville has Schreiner University. So if you're looking for a place where you can put your kids through high school and then they can go to a local college that is still a university, Schreiner's a great option, and you can look into that and kind of decide if Kerrville's a good spot for you. Kerrville is very big on its outdoor activities. There are multiple parks. You have the Ingram Dam that is there that you can go and you can kayak at, fish at. It's very popular for that. Guadalupe River runs through Kerrville as well. Different walking trails that run along there. And Kerrville is also known for being a great spot for antique shopping. So even if you maybe don't necessarily want to live in Kerrville and you want to live kind of closer into town like Bernie, Kerrville's a great spot to go check out some of those antique shops and some of those old-timey, cool little hardware stores that are kind of popped up around there. Great little area to check out. Their high schools are rated pretty well with greatschools.org. Definitely not the highest, but they're better than a lot that are in San Antonio itself. A couple of the other things to do that involve the outdoors, which is what Kerrville is really known for. You have the Devil's Sinkhole, which is a short drive away. It is one of the largest caverns in the state of Texas, and it is home to a very, very large community of roughly 3 million Mexican free-tailed bats. You can go watch those come out every night. Personally, I've never done it, and I really want to after reading up on it a little bit. It looks like a really cool spot to kind of go check out. You also have the YO Ranch. It's a big wildlife ranch you can go through. The ranch hands out there will actually show you everything that they got going on. You can kind of tour it yourself, I believe, and just kind of check it out. It's a very old, very popular, very well-known Texas ranch. If you are familiar with Texas ranches, you probably have heard of the YO Ranch. On top of that, you also have the Renaissance and the folk festivals that happen there every year. So a little bit of everything in Kerrville. It's a really, really cool spot. Definitely one of those places that not a lot of people look into just because it's a little bit farther away, but being that it's right off the highway, I really think it's a good option that you can check out. Like I mentioned, guys, if there's any of these places that you're looking at moving to or you want more information on, reach out to me. I'm here to help you guys in any way, shape, or form with these towns, or with your move to these towns and trying to figure out which is best for you. One of my favorite things in the world is helping you guys out with these moves. So if you have any other questions about these cities, about these towns, and just have questions in general about moving to San Antonio area or any of the other places that I may not have mentioned in this video, reach out, guys. My information, like I said, is right here. Text me, call me, email me. Let me know how I can help you guys in any way, shape, or form. If you found any value in this video, I would appreciate you to like it. And if you want to see more videos about San Antonio or the surrounding areas around here, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you're notified whenever I post these other videos. And definitely comment your thoughts on this video, guys. Until then, we will see you next time.